What's up, family? Love to y'all. Happy Cancer. The sun done finally moved out of Gemini into the heart sign of Cancer, the third eye chakra. Very important sign. But this conversation is actually about God, spirituality, belief systems, and shit. Here's the thing. In America, like 80% or more of the people are Christian, right? And so sometimes when I'm stating facts from my research, things I can stand on, things I can debate with anyone from any period of time. If you could call Jesus up himself, I would even debate with him about stuff that I've researched and I know that are true based upon the mathematics that I study in the universe. I see repeatable patterns that cannot be coincidences. They're too consistent and they keep providing or producing consistent results. That's what you do in research. You find patterns, right? So it's come to like my attention, like it's a good time that I should say that whenever I talk about the Bible, I'm not trying to insult Christian people, one, because naturally you're going to want to defend your book or a book that you believe in. Two, I'm not trying to insult anyone's personal growth or their relationship with their higher power. I am, however, trying to get people to be more thought-provoking. And I ask thought-provoking questions, and I might even be kind of a dick because I feel like these type of conversations can ruin a relationship between two people, almost like sports, even like sports. I've lost relationship talking basketball with people sometimes. It's crazy, but religion, politics, sports, it can get real feisty. I mean, I want y'all to know I was born and raised Pentecostal Christian, and I was beat over the head. I was raised under a Bible belt. However, I have a very high spiritual capacity that most humans don't have. And because of that, God put a lot of pressure on me. When I say God, I'm not talking about the God of the Bible. I'm talking about the God who actually created this universe. God put a lot of pressure on me to see the truth and to understand what's actually going on. And, one thing that I know for sure is that the God, Jesus, these people and all this stuff that you guys read about, and it has like some sort of emotional inspiration or effect on you when you're reading the Bible, that's not the God that you're interacting with in person. When you're praying and your ancestors are hearing you, and things that are a part of your destiny that the real God actually put a part of your destiny, your spiritual DNA, got that, like my boy coach be saying, got DNA. We do. Yeah, you got that good DNA, that combination of spiritual vibrations that God from the universe puts inside you, not God in the Bible. Two different gods here. And people conflate, they misunderstand, and they think because this book has been produced, remember, mass produced by governments, written and produced by governments as a tool to help control the crowds and the masses, their belief systems. And remember, the belief system matures between the ages of 15 and 16 years old. After that, you're going to have a shocking ass experience when you break that belief system to actually see the truth, right? Guys may not know that, but that's a cycle, a spiritual cycle that takes place. The belief system itself matures between the ages of 15 years old and 16 years old. That's for all humans, right? And so one of the things I wanted to get, especially over to black people, this is not so much for my white people, because the Bible is actually very compatible for white people. It's not compatible at all for black people, especially not the Old Testament. Christ consciousness concepts can be somewhat compatible for non-white people. But the Bible itself in general is not compatible for black people, especially not the Ten Commandments. Just like I taught y'all about, or, I may have not taught you guys, but you guys may learned about the 7 sounds of creation, 7 colors, the 7 rays of creation, so on and so forth, right? There's conflicts here because people pray and then things manifest in their life. And then they think and they start giving credit to the book in which their religion has programmed them to think is actually giving them that power, and it's not. The Bible for black people doesn't do shit for you. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But there is power inside of you that came from the real God that's not even related to the Bible. Has nothing to do with the Bible. And I'm going to tell y'all something. The planet and the rays that cause dark skin comes from a planet called Saturn. And I'm going to give you guys a description of Saturn. If you don't know, you're about to learn some shit today, right? Saturn is the most malefic planet in the universe. There's no planet more malefic than Saturn. It causes a lot of pain. It teaches through pain, causes us to have dark skin, causes us to be in last place because it's the slowest moving planet, right? We're either going to be on the bottom of every field or at the very top, right, as black people. And at this time period, you know, Saturn's always the slowest moving planet. He's the least supported planet. Black people are always in last place. We're always the slowest moving people. You know, in the Army, they taught you can only move as fast as your slowest moving member. So in America, it will really, really benefit them to prioritize speeding up and healing the black people, the black race, as fast as they can so we can continue to dominate the rest of the world. That's the main problem there. Focusing on the wrong people. People you need to focus on are the slowest moving people, because organically, everyone else is going to move faster anyway, right? So let me keep going down the list about Saturn and why these 10 commandments, and again, the Bible itself is irrelevant and it's bullshit as far as following that to a T for black people. We're going to continue to fail if we're sitting up here agreeing to a contract to a deity that's not even ours. In my opinion, a bunch of dope ass savage fucking white boys got together and they either rewrote the Bible or they wrote the Bible entirely. If you read a lot and you understand spirituality, you can see the nuances in the language itself that shows that these concepts of languages would not have ever come from that time period. It came from time periods much later. Yet they'll call the book Genesis. You read through Moses and shit, you say, wait a second, in the beginning, wait a second, this figure of speech, this shit didn't come about until 600, almost 1,000 years later. Why would he use that term and that figure of speech? You know, listen, you guys got to be sharp and on game. Got to be on game. Saturn is a planet that causes the most pain out of any planet. It causes fighting, fucking, raping, killing. It's the planet that produces metals and guns. Think about that. Out of all the vibrations in the universe, only one of them produces metals and guns on Earth. Saturn. So if Saturn produces guns, causes life to be malefic, right? Let me go down a list real quick, right? Because he has a lot of role. Saturn's role is heavy. In this one video, I won't be able to cover everything Saturn does, but I will go over some of the top things that he does, right? Saturn's main job is to protect you from traps, so you don't lose your freedom. Because once you lose your freedom, that's a sign that your Saturn has been overcome, right? So let me explain to you, right? Freedom comes in mental, emotional, and physical, and even energy. So those are the 4 ways you can have freedom or a lack of freedom, right? Encountering a disease, becoming arrested, being a slave, having unwanted children, having too many children, signing a very bad contract, like, you know, those buy here, pay here loan car lots and these bad contracts, paycheck advance, all that type of shit that you see in the ghettos. That's a reflection of Saturn. Even the ghetto itself is an environment that's ruled and created by Saturn. Think about that. So why would God create a planet and the deities of that planet, again, manifested metals and guns, knives, anything sharp, blunt weapons, any type of metal object Saturn created, right? Puts us in last place. organically makes us dishonest and malefic towards one another. We are the group of people who weren't created to lead ourselves. Look at Africa. It's hard to get a solar black person because of the fight against the other black people. We're disease resistant, right? God didn't put us on earth to be the leaders like this, not in this shape. No way. So how in the fuck could we ever follow 10 commandments that tell us thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not steal? Why'd you create weapons then? Why'd you create a gun? What is a gun used for? Why would you create malefic energy and teach us through pain? Think about it. Why would you take our freedom away then, Saturn? You're the planet that does that. No other race of people have their freedom taken away from them than black people do, right? No other race of people have gone through the most pain on earth than black people. We still go through the most pain. It's still relevant. Saturn is still in charge. He's still the most dominant vibration in the universe that influences us. Jesus has no power over what Saturn does to us. If a nigga wants to rob you, the Saturn vibration in him tells him to do that. He can't sign no contract with no damn deity telling him thou shalt not steal and thou shalt not kill. His organic behavior thinking patterns is going to tell him, I'm going to fucking rob this bitch. You know what I'm saying? And then you're sitting up here thinking about these people, these pastors back in the day, these coons. They're coons. And again, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I want people to think. And for those that don't know white men, I love white people. However, I've studied white people from a very high energetic perspective, and I respect all warrior in men. I look for the savage, the dog in every man that I see. And I don't judge white men the way I judge other men, because they weren't created to be malefic in the same way. So judging a white guy and saying, hey, he's not as hard as I am, he's not as street as I am, I don't do that. I judge him based upon what I know, what rays are influencing him, which is the moon. So I study the moon, right? And when you study the moon, you'll notice one of the most dominant powers that white men have are their powers to use words to destroy their enemies. Apex warriors when it comes to using words, white men are. They get that blessing from the moon. No other group of people are as young as the group of white people are, right? They aren't. They're the youngest race of people on earth. However, they established and built kingdoms faster than any other race of people on earth. White people did that, right? I can get into real deep detail about how special and what makes white people special. And if you haven't done that, then you can't challenge me when I tell you that that book, that Bible, was written or at least remanufactured by a group of savage ass white boys. So when you're sitting up there praying, you thinking this, that, and the third and stuff, and throw all those 10 commandments in the trash. That's not our God. That's not our deity. The God that's interacting in your life is real. Holy Spirit, or whatever you want to call that energy that guides you, that brings you back. Remember, there's power in words. So you put your consciousness into that word, Jesus. You put your consciousness into that word, Holy Spirit. You put your consciousness into the word God or Allah. Then that word itself, again, according to Samkhya Yoga even, it starts off the elements of creation just through starting with the word. The word is powerful. So just because those words are powerful doesn't mean that that Bible itself is the actual God that's been the God in your life. If it was, he wouldn't give you conflicting information about some 10 commandments. And think about it. How can you steal? Listen, straight up, especially on this one. How can you steal what already belongs to you? The United States government has stolen from black people since the inception of the country. Then they start stealing as time went on, they start stealing from all the other races and then built communities exclusively for white people with the money that they got from the blacks, the Hispanics, the Asians, and everyone else. That's theft. That's thievery. And even on paperwork, guaranteed, oh, you're going to get 40 acres and a mule. And then they fall back on their contract. Who wrote those contracts? How come your Jesus can't do shit about that, right? It's because Jesus isn't a deity for black people. That God in the Bible is not for black people. Doesn't benefit us. Never has. I'm not telling people not to pray because your prayers are real. They're going to a real God. However, you're taking that consciousness and putting it to that God in the Bible who's been manufactured or created by a group of savage ass white boys. Y'all need to keep y'all fucking game tight. When I talk to y'all about Christianity and Jesus, it's because of love and a social acceptance. It's not out of truth. The truth is, malefic energy is what it is. And Saturn made us malefic. We cannot abide by any of those rules coming from the Bible. We can't. And the other thing is, when you calculate all the money in the world, the last time I did a figure like that, I think it was like $93 trillion. I did it back in 2021, 2022. I was trying to project how much money a company could grow within a period of time, right? So I had to calculate all the money in the world. And I said, damn, think about this. $93 trillion in the world. Black people are on the bottom of the map, right? How come God of this Bible hasn't secured a percentage of that 93 trillion real money, that real dollars that are in the world, so that we can maintain our religious ideals? How come he hasn't done that? How is it that people on earth have more power than he does over the resources that are on earth? Makes no sense. Throw that book in the trash, y'all. You'll be doing yourself a favor. The best way you can serve and serve God is to keep your God based upon your effort and the love that you have for your brother and your family. That's the best advice I can give y'all, man. Salute.